And welcome everyone to game number 3 of the MSL Code Platinum semifinals, or the second set of semifinals, here in Season 2. We are here on Belshir Vestige, and we are ready to start, and in fact are already in game number 3. In the top left corner of the map, we have the orange Zerg player, Stormshout, and in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, we have the once again Terran player in the green, Quixoticism. And also, I just have to wonder, the naming, not sure, first of all, if I'm saying it right, because I have no idea how to say that. And then second of all, if, what the thought process was behind that. Sometimes you look at names and you wonder that, like, I would have not expected to make a name like that, personally. Generally, names fall into like the epic, awesome-sounding category, or the "it's my name and so I use a variation of it" category, or at least something that sounds like a name. And then, if you ascribe to Day 9's theory, you in fact also have the option to have a name that sounds like an ancient historian, or kind of a Final Fantasy, not Final Fantasy. We'll say fantasy book character name. You know, like Aragorn, or Zeratul or something like that. Not really a name, but an awesome, epic-sounding name, or just some crazy combination of characters that some would call elite speak and others would just call gibberish. Looks like we're going to see a really standard. This is a 14. No, this is a 15 hatch. 15 hatch. We should see a pool coming up here soon as well. We have a little bit of a scuffle here as the probe is going to keep trying to whack away at this SCV, and he almost gets it. But he will get away. He might get picked off here in just a minute. He's going to get picked off. There he goes. So losing a SCV to a drone is always a little bit embarrassing. This SCV should either go in and scout or start doing damage. Ooh, and it goes gas pool. That's interesting. I apologize. I'm trying to get the aquatics out of my throat by drinking. That really doesn't make much sense. So gas pool generally should let you get enough gas for speed before the pool finishes, but there's nothing going into it. Okay, so he lost a little bit of mining time there, but nothing too bad. Gas steal. It's a little bit annoying. I don't know if this was going to be a gas geyser. Yeah, it could have been, as it's a 2-racks. 2-racks builds. Ooh, and it's a proxy bunker. Can his opponent see that? He can, actually, because if there was just this here, you might not, but with the Overseer, or the Overlord there, he totally can see it. He's going to get a surround on this and should be able to take this out. The Reaper here doesn't do any damage anymore. The Reapers used to do excellent damage versus light armor units. They took all of that away. So now they do 2 attacks of 4 instead of 2 attacks of 9. And this will get finished up. But this could cause a little bit of a problem if there's enough Marines that come over. But I don't think that's going to happen. I feel like whenever I use Reapers now, I'm slapping people with fish. I'm just like, ha! Ah! You just keep that Reaper, oh my goodness, just barely makes it in, and he does get the, force the cancel on that, so this is going to be a little bit annoying from Quixoticism, but if this if this bunker goes down, there's now enough creep that he's not going to be able to rebuild it. He's spending, this is actually really kind of funny, he's forcing another unit to stay back there. This Reaper is going to get picked off. That's got to be annoying. He's going to start going. He's going to try to incite some violence, goes ahead and starts picking things off. You can bring this SUV back out of there. In the meantime, speed is started. This really isn't that big of a deal. There's not enough DPS from just things. Ooh, should have built it a little bit farther back, and there's nothing here to defend it. This Queen will also go down. So this is actually some pretty good pressure, so we're going to see if Stormshout can handle this and get things done. This finally is gone, so now his opponent will be able to build on that gas geyser. I don't know if that was ever an intention. There are lots of Marines here, though, that could be participating, but they're not. I don't know exactly why those are not on their way. Looks like he's going to be supply blocking his opponent. Stormshout here in a moment. Quixoticism, good job there. They're easy. They're even in army supply. The Reapers here, in fact, I think the bunker was salvaged. The Reapers here are going to try to get a little bit more damage done. I think he was mostly just trying to put on some pressure. There was no intent to do more, although if these Marines were at that attack, I think Stormshout might be dead already, as that many Marines would be quite hard to deal with. There is another command center on its way. There is now a factory. But I really feel like that was a missed opportunity from Quixoticism. He's going to run down the ramp at the worst time, but there should be enough Marines that they force back all the rest of those Zerglings. Not a big problem there. Everything has been stabilizing from Stormshout, and he, in fact, is going for a Baneling Nest. He needs to throw down some additional gas geysers to be able to make that work. He should probably go to Lair so he can get speed, which also requires gas. So I'd expect to see that sometime soon, but a Baneling bust could work well against someone who's going almost entirely Marines at this point in time. We do have additional Marine production, but we do have Stim and Combat Shield going down at the same time. We're going to see a factory with a reactor, so if he throws down an armory in the next moment or two, I would expect to see some Marines. They're going to get taken out. Look at all their dead bodies. Another spine crawler. Big thing there was that I don't think his opponent saw that there... So, I don't think Quixoticism saw that there's a Baneling Nest. That's a big deal, but there's also no more Marines on the map, and there's going to be reactored probably just normal Hellions, actually. There's no armory on the way as of yet. Could also be mines, to be completely honest. No, we're going to have a reactored set of medevacs coming out. We're going to have another base, and then we're going to have siege tanks, is my guess, if he follows anything like what he did last game. We do have Combat Shield finishing up. Stim is 2/3 of the way there. There goes a reactored starport. Here comes another barracks. He's got to find a way to spend that. And he sees the Banelings now. He's got to be worried about that a little bit, although there's not a large enough number to be a really big threat. Go ahead and taking that extra base while his opponent is relatively pinned back. There, he's finally getting some extra gas as he's noticing that he has no way to build enough Banelings. He does have enough income. He's up almost double the number of workers. That's amazing. Especially no worker kills. He's been forgetting to produce. Is that what's been going on? Not entirely sure what Quixoticism has been doing there. He's been spending his money decently well, but it's there's a problem when you only have half as much money as your opponent. Or at least half as much income, not necessarily money. Going to be throwing down a bunker, wanting to make sure he does not die to a Baneling bust. What I think would be absolutely hilarious is if he built a Marauder and loaded up to the medevac and dropped it right in the middle of the Banelings, so then all the Banelings died. Then this threat would go away immediately, and it wouldn't be a big deal. But it is continuing to be a big deal, but the other hand, now there's actually enough gas income. In fact, way too much. There's 3 additional workers there, and not 3 here. That's kind of a problem. But because Banelings have excellent splash damage, he's not comfortable moving out as of yet. If he put a siege tank in this corner, I think he could actually shoot the Banelings. So, good job, Stormshout, keeping Quixoticism playing a little bit more passive. Ooh, this could work. Doing some Heart of the Swarm style stuff. Excellent job keeping everything all loaded up into those medevacs, and going to go and do some drops. There's not actually that many units on the map from Stormshout. He's actually very low on army. Most of it's hanging out right here at the front. There should be some additional stuff out here. Nope, evolution chambers providing a little bit of a wall here, which is always something good to do. Creep threat is coming in. These dropships will be spotted immediately. But with afterburners, they're going to get in. I don't know why all the drones want to go fight them immediately. That's a little bit strange. But I guess he was hoping to get them all up before they came down. It looks like he is going to lose quite a bit of workers. Although it's not going to be as bad as it could have been with the double doom drop. That could have been pretty damaging, actually. Looking at the workers killed, 24 workers killed. Wow. So he did lose quite a few workers there. He did handle it fairly well, but he had to recall all those lings from there. He was waiting for centrifugal hooks, but he did not get the time to do so, as Quixoticism forced his way out by making his opponent draw back. That's something to take note of for those of you that like Starcraft, or strategy and awesomeness. 4 racks, a starport, a factory on one base, and 28 workers is a little bit optimistic. He's super broke, and he's going to be super broke for a while if he tries to produce off all of that. One base can do 3 barracks. One base can do 2 barracks and a factory, or 2 barracks and a starport. You do have 2 bases, but this one doesn't really count as of yet. You are going to see a big flood of minerals coming in for a short term as all the mules come down, as there's some stored energy, but other than that, the economy is still relatively small. There's a whole bunch of mutas coming out from Stormshout, though, and that could be a problem. He's going to start getting a decent number, and with all those Marines gone, what is he producing now? He's still producing Marines out of Tech Lab barracks. I don't understand that. These mutas causing lots of damage. He's going to lose most of his workers right here, actually. He does finally react and pull them back. The Stim Marines going to run back, try to chase these off, but I don't think they're going to get any of them. They do slightly damage one, but that is it. That's a whole bunch of free damage right there. And there are medevacs, so he's going to be able to handle that just fine. He needs to throw down a missile turret or 2, and possibly there's not a lot of room on this map to sneak around the sides, so a missile turret here and another one on the side would help prevent anything like that from happening. In the meantime, Stormshout continuing to keep expanding. He's got twice the workers. He's continuing to build more mutas, and this time he's going to get enough mutas that he actually can make use of them. 16 is starting to approach the size when you don't just call it a flock, you call it a murder of mutas. It could also be a gaggle, but murder is much more appropriate. And now the mutas are going to come in. They're going to have no problem handling all this, as there's nothing here to stop them. All these SCVs are going to go down, actually. Every single last one of them, except for the ones that were in the supply... Not in the supply depots, although that would be excellent if that could happen. No, instead, they were in the refinery. I feel like Quixoticism is not handling this aggression very well. The multi-pronged attack, he's good at doing it, but he's not having very good success at defending against it. The siege tanks caught off guard, nothing to support them. They're going to get gobbled up immediately. Those mutas should also take out both of those medevacs. The Marines will be able to push that back, but that was a very big blunder from Quixoticism. The siege tanks pushing out in front with nothing there to defend them, that's always a recipe for disaster. And I'd like to just point out how much of the game has been played on Quixoticism's side of the map, especially in the recent time periods. Also, he's got 10 banelings, he's got 17 mutas, he's got some upgrades on the way. Is he going to burrow those? If he burrows those... No. Okay, it'll depend on the engagement. He needs to split those Marines up. He needs to split those Marines... No! Okay, that's game over. That's 49 to 107. Yeah, that's actually game over. Excellent job, Stormshout, bringing it back. Now we're down into a best of 3. This is kind of what it ends up being. So 2-1. Now we're gonna get to see how exactly this works out. I feel like Quixoticism, main callouts here. I feel like you could have won the game earlier if you brought like those 10 Marines to that first attack. You didn't, so then you got pinned back as soon as that was done, because then he had banelings, and then also not preparing or accounting at all for mutas. A single, 2 widow mines, one here and one here, or in here, and then or a few missile turrets actually would have done wonders there. There was one. Okay, not everything's lost. Anyway, so good game, and we're going to see how the next game or 2 goes, and see if Quixoticism can come back and win this, or if Stormshout is going to make this a tight series.